Okay friends, to get started, the first thing we have to do is remove our door panel. To do that, I'm going to start right here by removing this Phillips head screw. The fork tool and remove this. Now we're going to use our trim tool, come underneath the front of this area here and pop it up. Let's remove the wiring from the back. Let's come right underneath this area with a pocket screwdriver. I'm going to pry this apart and then lift this up and out. It's always a good idea to check your electrical connectors. Make sure you don't see any corrosion. If you do, it needs to be dealt with. This looks great, so let's set it aside and continue. There we are. Remove that. All right, now the next thing we need to do is get underneath our grab handle. You're going to find a mounting bolt right here and then a second one right there. Let's remove the pair. Now let's continue on with our trim tool, and we're going to come in between the door panel and the door itself. I want to make sure I use a plastic trim tool because of course I don't want to damage my paint. Slide it in between and then gently pry away. Once you have it so it's starting to break free, you can carefully pry it away from the door. There we are. Let's go ahead and lift this up and get it out of here. Now at this point, something that I want to make sure that we have is our window in the fully up position, because we're going to need to get behind here and I need to access that area over there. If for some reason yours isn't, all you need to do is go ahead and plug in your window switch right here, and of course the lock for that right there. After that, just put your window fully up and then of course turn off your key. The next thing I want to do is pop this out of here. I'm just going to use my plastic trim tool, pop it right out so we have access. Let's come right over here and start moving this away from the door panel as well. Now that we have all that out of the way, we have a clear view of where our two mounting nuts are. One right here in this hole, and then one right there. Let's remove the pair. Now I'll do that second one. So now I'm just going to go ahead and pull this door handle out as much as I can. I want to be very careful not to scratch my paint, and I'm going to come in with a flathead screwdriver and try to pop this lock off of here. Once I get the lock off, I can remove the rod. Okay, I've got the lock off of there. Now I'll just push the rod right out. Now there's going to be another one that's located a little bit further up top. That's going to be a black lock. We need to pop that off as well. For that, I'm going to come right through the inside door area here, press on this. All right, now that we have the lock off, let's pull the rod out of there. Okay, let's go ahead and carefully pull this out. Now the next thing we need to do is remove the rods from our inner handle that lead to the latch itself. So I'm just going to come right through with my screwdriver and pop them out of the latch. And along here, get in between, and you can separate it. There's one. I'm going to come down and do the second one. There we are. Now let's take off this bolt right here for the window channel that runs inside. Now with that bolt out, we can move this around so we can access everything the way we need to. Let's continue on by removing our wiring. I'm just going to grab this right here, pull down on this tab, and we can slide this out. Check your wiring, make sure you don't see any funny colors. Assuming it looks good, set it aside, and then remove all the rest of your electrical connectors. Now I'm going to remove this green one. I'm just going to lift up on this tab and draw the wiring away. There we are. Set those aside. Now let's come to the outer aspect of the latch right here. We're going to remove our 3 mounting bolts. Now we can just grab onto the window channel, slide it out of the way, and remove our latch. Okay, so now over on the bench, the next thing we have to do is remove our rods. Before I remove the rods though, I want to mark them so that way there I know exactly where they go back. I'm just going to go ahead and mark this one with a marker. That way there I know exactly which one goes where. Now we'll take them off. To do that, I'm just going to use a flat blade screwdriver, come right in between here, and gently pry it away. We'll do the same to the other one. There it is, friends. Now it's going to be time to get ready to reinstall our latch assembly. No, this isn't a new one, but ours works perfectly fine, so I'm just going to show you how to install it. Obviously, we're going to take our rod, slide it into where it belongs. Now we'll just give it a wiggle and make sure it doesn't pop out. Do the same to the other one. Perfect. Let's get back over to the truck. So now back over at the truck, we're going to get ready to install this. Something that you want to pay attention to is the direction that the latch is in. Obviously, we want that to line up with the door where it's going to be. And then also, of course, the rods. The rods themselves are going to go right up along the body of this. And then we can go ahead and put this in. Come right in through here. Now as we put this in, we just kind of want to roll it around the back side of that window channel and then slide it up. There we are. Now that we have our latch so it's in approximately where it needs to be, we're going to come along to the outside and put on our outside door handle. Let's start this upper rod in there. Of course, lock it in. There we are. Take this, roll it in. Okay, so now that we have the handle in and flush, let's continue on to starting our 3 mounting bolts for our latch. Now that all 3 are started, let's snug them up. We have the latch mounted. Let's continue on to putting in our 2 mounting bolts for the outside handle. Now looking in through this hole, you can tell where I'm trying to put in that lower rod. I'm just going to go ahead and line it up with its corresponding hole, and then of course lock it in. Go ahead and push in that rod, and then we'll lock it. There we are. Now it's going to be time to connect in our electrical connectors. The one with the green up here is going to be the very top. After that, we're going to do this one up along the top area here, and then this one's the very bottom. Let's connect in that last one. Perfect. Double check them all, make sure they're secure. Let's move along. Let's connect in these other rods now. We marked them where they came from, so of course we're going to want to make sure that the one that we marked goes into the marked hole. Slide that right in, give it a nice wiggle, and make sure that it's latched in. If it comes loose, you need to ensure that it's secured. Now let's do the same to the other one. Let's push that in, make sure it's secured. We're going to move along to putting in our securing point for the window channel, right down here. Just line that up, put in your bolt, and then snug it up. Put this little cover back in here. Now let's go ahead and put back up our vapor barrier. To put on the inside trim panel here, let's go ahead and grab the wiring, pull it through right here. Along the top, you're going to feel that you have a lip right along this area. It needs to fit over this right here. So come up high and then bring it down low. Now that we have it down, look inside and just make sure that all your little pitons are lined up with their holes. Once they are, just go ahead and push it in. Put this on. If you were to look at the back side, you can see it has a little hooky-do here. That's going to need to slide underneath this ridge. And come in at an angle, slide it under, and then press this in. There we are. Now we can start in our mounting screw and snug it up. Next, we're going to come underneath the grab handle and put in 2 of our mounting bolts. Make sure that's nice and tight, and do the same to the other one. Let's put in our little piton. Now it's time to get our switch on here. Okay, double check them all, make sure they're secured. Something you want to pay attention to is this area along here. It's a little hooky-do, needs to slide underneath this. Once it's under, go ahead and push this down and lock it in. Now let's go ahead and test our door handle. I'm going to check it in the locked position. Perfect.